Hello and happy Thursday to everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, and I'm closing my door. Yeah, we're here with another fun stream here. We got 4 races at Turfway to take a look at. We got some really good racing coming up this weekend, featuring the Florida Derby. We got a great guest, and we got Mark. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good, Josh. How you doing?
Good. I know you were probably just totally not thinking that you were going to get tagged.
I thought there was absolutely zero chance you'd pull me up first, and yet here I am.
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody that this is Mark Capitan. It's definitely not Andrew Champagne. But more importantly, your new nickname. Since you got the name got put up in lights again on the Horse Tourneys blog for the second time, Mark L. Capitan.
Yeah, the L had another strike, and apparently the Horse Tourney blog guys have decided that they've come up with my nickname, and it's going to stick.
At least I'm not calling you Mike.
No, I'm only Mike in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to tell the good people about your nice little strike this weekend?
Yeah, I took down the Horse Tourneys Dubai feature, which was a $10,000 guarantee, and took first place. It paid about $4,500. So nice little Saturday morning in Dubai, and I did it with both of our favorite horses, who I was a little shocked you didn't bet last out, Josh. I'm a little disappointed.
My heart's been broken by Switzerland way too many times. I finally jumped off the Switzerland. I bet Switzerland last time.
Did you?
Yeah.
This is what happens with you. You find these horses that you chase, and as soon as you stop chasing them, then they show up.
Yeah, I played the $12 tournament, and I scored for about 200 off of that because I had a bunch of winners, and then I did pretty decent in Stable Duel, but Stable Duel's got that weird like flat payout structure. So like I finished 7th in a huge tournament, and I think it only paid me like $30 or something like that. But one man who is definitely attacking Stable Duel this weekend is one Andrew Champagne. How you doing, Andrew?
Doing really well, thanks. Really appreciate you guys having me. It's been sort of a busy week over here. Had to deal with an unexpected and unwelcome COVID test on Saturday that came back positive. But on the other side of it, and really looking forward to both tonight and this weekend, a lot of really good racing going on.
Yeah, I know you did have the little call out. We were talking, pre-show. There's a nice big Stable Duel contest. I know since Caleb's not here, we do need somebody to shill Stable Duel. So what's going on with Stable Duel this weekend?
Sure. So earlier today, actually, the fine folks at Stable Duel, Bremont especially, who was credited with the email, sent me a nice note and informed me that I had 25 complimentary dollars in my account to play the $60 buy-in tournament on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Of course, that's Florida Derby Day, 14 races. The first post, my God, it's way too early out here on the West Coast. I have to actually wake up on a Saturday, and it's going to be a long day for me because in addition to 14 races at Gulfstream, night 1 of WrestleMania. My goodness, I just got over COVID. Let me sleep, people. Anyway, $40,000 guaranteed pool for that one. Really excited for it. A lot of options and a lot of different directions you can go in a 14-race card.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. The Stable Duel contest at Dubai, with all those races, and like you got those huge fields, and it's like, goodness, like, yeah, your horse might be 4-1, 5-1, but there's a shot that he finishes like 12 lengths back or something with all the way those fields get stretched out. So you just had to pick a couple of winners and hope you didn't have too many negative numbers. And I think that's what you're going to need to do at Gulfstream this weekend as well.
That's for sure. Got to dodge those minus 30s, man.
Yep. Speaking of dodging, especially minus 30s, we have Brian.
Why is he dressing up?
Why do you have a suit on?
I think I got crisscrossed. You told me tonight was special. You told me we were having champagne, and freaking Andrew shows up. I did not get the memo. You said champagne on Thursday. I'm like, awesome. Champagne on Thursday sounds good. I got dressed up. I thought we're doing Florida Derby, but here you are in a hoodie. Mark's in a hoodie, and all of a sudden Andrew's smiling at me like, hey, I'm Andrew. So I don't know what's going on, man.
Brian,
I feel dumb now.
Where did you find a bottle of champagne in the house?
Same place everybody does. In the back of the cabinet, cheerfully aging away from like 4 New Year's Eves ago.
I mean, I love bubbly. I always have it. I always have some on hand. But you're more of a beer and whiskey guy. So
I had debated going to get a 6-pack of Budweiser for the champagne and beer, just to go that route.
That's Miller High Life. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's the one funny line in the history of Raider Mike's existence.
Yeah. But Sendin saying that I'm just casually trying to show off my sick Keeneland hoodie here.
It's nice.
Yeah, I love it, dude. This thing is super comfortable. I wear this thing all the time now. I'll be in Keeneland next weekend, so that should be fun for opening weekend. Nick Feldman talking. He said, "Looks he won his first feeder to a BCBC, but he didn't seal the deal in the actual qualifier." Yeah, that's how Caleb qualified one year. He won a feeder, and then he ended up winning the actual qualifier. So I think he got into the BCBC for like $70 or something. It was something stupid. So that's definitely one way to go about it. Champagne is found in the bathroom cupboard. Per Jay. So
that's where I keep
the cocaine.
That's where I keep the cocaine. I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
But we got about looks like about 6 minutes to post here till
7, I think. Yeah,
7 minutes to post. Let me pull up the old video feed here. Why ExpressBet? Why are you so difficult to use?
Well, there's lots of reasons. Where do you want me to start?
Yeah. Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, I did very well in the ExpressBet tournament this morning or this afternoon. Won a seat to that Florida Derby contest, $1,500 buy-in. So that'll be fun on Saturday. But it's those feeders are always fun. They're like $80. ExpressBet runs them on Fridays usually. They ran 2 this week. They're running one on Thursday and Friday. But I have a little bit of cash on my ExpressBet account, so I figured I'll pull that up. And I always forget how much I just do not like using the ExpressBet ADW, but I digress. We got 5 minutes to race 6 here. Andrew, I did see that you posted a nice little pick 4 ticket. I'm going to share with the people here. But why don't you talk to us here about race 6 here at Turfway?
Sure. So I'm looking at the odds board and I'm a little bit surprised. I really thought horse number 7 in the program, Incessant, would go off a much shorter price than the current 7-1 that we're seeing on the board with about 5 minutes to post. And also, my top pick is 9-1. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just surprised. My top selection is actually number 5, Celestial Spin, who comes in off a little bit of a layoff and faces a pretty weak group for the level. This is a horse that last summer was facing 25,000 beaten claiming company at Indiana Grand, comes in facing 15,000 non-winners of 3 life. This is a pretty steep drop down the class ladder for this 4-year-old filly by Hardspun. Has run well here at Turfway in the past. 1 win in 2 seconds in 4 starts. And I think has enough tactical speed to potentially sit a nice stalking trip. Manny Oscavel rides. You've got a couple of works here that are pretty good. Give me 9-1 on this horse all night long. I'm surprised at that value. My goodness. The other 2 horses that I'm using in this particular race are number 1, Blarney Girl, and number 2, Miss Adeline. And those 2 horses are taking money. Miss Adeline's your current 9-5 favorite. Blarney Girl 7-2. Blarney Girl I actually liked a little bit more, though, coming back to the synthetic surface after a failed try against Allowance Company up at Mahoning Valley. That race was over a sloppy track. That second place finisher came back to win, and that one just a total throwout for me. Gets back to doing what she wants to do, and I think has a big shot if they can work out a trip from that inside post. But as you can see down in the bottom left corner of the screen, it's an $18 ticket. I think it gets a little bit chalky late, but we do have some prices on there just in case we're able to pop one and make this pay a little bit. For now, though, 125 in this one. Was trying to beat the 7 because I thought the 7 would be a little bit of a shorter price, and who knows, there's still time. Might well go off a much shorter price than the 6-1 we're currently getting.
Yeah, just to kind of jump in real quick, because you already talked about my top pick in here. I'm actually singling the one in this spot,
Okay.
Blarney Girl. I was talking with El Capitan a little bit beforehand, and he basically said bet the Josh horses. So when I look at this race, it looks to me at least that the 1 is probably going to get the lead pretty easily here, and I think that they're going to work out a nice trip there on the front end. Seems like speed's been pretty good at Turfway tonight, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just going to stick with the old 1. I got a $20 win bet on the 1 right now, and then I also have an $18 ticket singling the 1. And I kind of agree with you. I think it might get a little bit chalky later on, but I did include a couple of longer prices in those legs. See if maybe we spike a little bit of a price. I'm playing it for $1, so it's $36, but it's an $18 base ticket here. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm very much agree with you, Josh. I think Blarney Girl, the 1, is the horse that makes the most sense. Get some class relief off that last at Mahoning, and drops back to the level and distance of the last win, which was that 2 back Turfway start from February. So I thought the 1 Blarney Girl was a really smart single in here. If you've been watching the races so far today, of the first 5 races, 4 of them have been wired. The winner has gone every step of the way on the front end. And in the last race, you had the first horse to pass for a win, and that horse basically sat second the whole way around the track. So speed has been very, very good tonight. Only other horse I thought was a little interesting on purely a bias play was the 8 horse Hot Dame, who's another one that's going to be very forwardly placed. If you can ignore that last start, the 2 back and a mile for the win, that claiming 75 N2L is is an okay race, and you're getting 24-1. So you're taking a low percentage shot to get a lot of upside if this one can sit that that speedy on or just off trip and get it home.
Brian, we got a minute to post here. You got any thoughts on this race?
Well, you talked about all 8 horses. I'm just going to throw out Mark's horses are going to lose. I have my best bet of the day is actually in race 8. And so I'm trying to get to race 8 and be live here on a pick 4. So what I like here is at Turfway in the 8 furlongs, the outside 2 posts in 48 races have won 38% of the time. So with that being said, the 7's coming out of non-winners for one company, similar to the 1. The 7 has a much better price, and at it's currently 7-1. I'm seeing a flash 6-1. That horse is going to be coming from off of it. But if you believe in energy expenditure handicapping, most of these races at 8 furlongs are won with a little bit later kick. So we'll see what happens. Should be able to sit kind of close and start something off here. Obviously, the 1 and the 2 are impressive, but at 7-1, I'll do a win bet here on the 7, and then I'm going to try to limp into race 8, and I should probably tell you who the best bet is, and that's the 4 in race 8. That's different, but okay. I'm a big fan of that horse in race 8.
All right, looks like they're loading in real quick. It looks like Charles Blaha, he likes the 2 here. He's got a 25765 ticket here. Sentinel also likes the 2. Last 11 races, Presser's Closers make up 81% of the winning run. He'll eat the chalk here. And Jay is got basically every single horse. He's got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. He's going to try and single his way to the 5 in the last leg of a pick 4 here. So,
and that makes a lot of
sense
because I think First Royal in the last is going to be very, very tough. So I get the logic there. Just try to get a couple of prices home before you get to that chalk.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't hate that ticket at all. That makes a lot of sense. If you can sneak some prices in here that we're not seeing, it makes a lot of sense.
Hello? Oh, hi, guys. The ITP just called me. He said everybody's going to single a 5 there, so play the field and toss the 5. Just letting you know.
Yeah, I totally
weird phone call.
I'm impressed that you were able to pick up the phone in the middle of the rave you appear to be at.
Well, I've got the rave going on. I have a business meeting, and I have the Bluetooth underneath my headphones. So I am doing a lot of different things here. I feel like somebody in the financial sector. Look at the ride on the 4. What are you doing?
What are they doing? Is it like are they riding a side saddle?
Slipped.
Yeah, Julio lost the irons.
Saddle slipped. Either saddle slipped or he broke a saddle. One of the 2.
Well, he's probably overweight today.
That
But yeah,
can't
it
be a
does look
pleasant ride all the way around the track.
No, that's
Echo.
Hey, who
The
was it that
family-
won like that a couple months ago?
that
I
was
don't
at
know if
like
it was a couple of months ago, but I know
Parks.
Trevor McCarthy did it once at Laurel.
Oh no, somebody did it a few months ago. I thought it was at one of those tracks down south, Delta or somebody.
I thought it was Parks that it happened at.
Was it Parks?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Patricia's Hope Silks, isn't it?
Oh, my 7 was way too far back for this track. What are you doing
Yeah,
back there?
I'm not sure what they were doing on my 8, but trying to take back and make one run.
See if the 5 can find a way through.
5's going way outside.
On my camera angle, I think the 5 is almost
The
there.
5 is either gone or the 1 is going to win by open lengths. I can't tell.
1's going to win by
Either
about
way, I'm
3.
alive, but I'd love the 5
There you
here. You guys might be a little bit ahead of me. They're just turning for home now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're quite a bit ahead of you.
Okay, then that might well be the case. But
They're actually loading in for race 7 right now.
That's where it was. Sentence right. That was Angel Cruz at Emerald. That was right. Was
That's right.
Emerald, not Parks. Yep.
Okay. Well, nice call, Josh. And I'll tell you what, I'm not at all, mad at the effort there by the 5 there. Hopefully that gave one of you a nice little exacta there. 3-1 over 14-1. The 5 went off at.
Yeah, that price on that 5 was insane.
Right? This is just that's nuts. And in the meantime, while we start our next talk set, I am going to try to reset my iPad so I can get a little closer to you guys.
You know what? Out of curiosity, which AEW are you getting the feed from?
I was using these guys here.
Oh, then you should be fine.
Twinspires.com.
Okay. I was going to tell you my AEW of choice is Naira Bets, and their feeds are oftentimes behind by a little bit. And I know this because usually Mark or Caleb are texting me or messaging me on Discord and telling me, "Oh yeah, your horse won or your horse lost," and I'm still like watching. So they ruin the surprise for me about 9 times out of 10. So
that's how ExpressBet is too. And half the time I'm watching the race on my phone like this, blocking the Discord pop-ups, so I can't see who won the race.
I was laughing because today I was playing the ExpressBet contest, and people were, or I don't know if it was you or it was Ryder or our friend Dave, messaging like, "Oh, good pick" or whatever, and I'm just like, man, I'm still watching the race. Like, what's?
It wasn't me. I did not add your ego the entire day. You had a good day, and I was not going to jump on and congratulate you.
Yeah, sent in saying Twin Spires is what he uses and seems faster than most. I agree. I if it weren't just for like every single problem I had with Twin Spires, I would probably be my ADW of choice. But personal reasons, unfortunately. But I mean, I still use Brisnet for everything, so obviously I've had to make some concessions with my relationship with CDI. Oh, Nick Feldman, thank you for calling out that one. And Road Warrior, thank you. Appreciate you guys. So Andrew and I are both move on to the next leg. And 1532. Looks like the inside post didn't do bad there.
No, and especially because Blarney Girl got pushed along a little bit early on by the horse that had the busted saddle or the lost iron or something like that. It's not like the early pace was slow. They went 48-1, I think, for the half.
Yes.
PDT asking if Brian is parking cars later tonight. So you're going to go work the valet over at the Hard Rock?
There's no valet at the Hard Rock, Josh. It's Gary, Indiana.
Oh, there's always valet. Come on.
You do not let somebody in Gary, Indiana get into your car with the keys. That is the bad news.
Fun fact, when my dad and I were driving cross country to move me out to California, we got lost outside of Gary, Indiana. He was pretty traumatized by that.
There's lots of things that get traumatized there.
That was special.
Just so you know, there's 15 bookstores in Gary. None of them are actual bookstores. They're just bookstores. That's weird. It's a weird little city. It's run down. I talked about it.
It's been a big fall since the Music Man for Gary, Indiana.
Yep.
Longer than that. Glenn Robinson, baby.
let's take why don't we move on here? We got a little bit of time, obviously, before the next race. So I pulled up the old Jeff Ruby Stakes. This Saturday is going to be Turfway's big card, and I don't know. I always think it's a fun little card. You always get the nice thing about Turfway Park is you're always going to get big fields, and with big fields usually equals big payouts. So uh, this kind of seems to be now I believe it's a 100-point race. This kind of seems to be the way to get turf horses into the Derby gate. So no surprise here that Tis the Bomb, 2-1 morning line favorite here for Kenny McPeak and Brian Hernandez Jr. They won the local prep for this, the Jeff Battaglia Memorial, and they're going against a stolen base here who finished a nice second in this race last time out. So, Mark, what are you kind of thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Tis the Bomb makes a ton of sense in here. Not that I want to sit here and eat chalk because I do have a couple prices I like in this race, but, he ran absolutely, huge all last summer. Bourbon was really impressive. And to run that second he did in the, BC Juvenile, was just an absolutely huge race, coming from out of nowhere. He fits on figures, won the local prep, seems super logical here. Again, they're clearly trying to get the turf horse into the Derby Day gate, but I thought Tiz the Bomb made a ton of sense. Couple others I like in here. I'll let you guys bounce it around because I do have one that I was shocked at the price on the morning line because I don't normally like stupid prices. But what do you guys have at it?
Which stupid price?
The X Baffer is where I ended up landing. I
Well,
thought
I'll go next because that one is my top pick.
okay, have at it.
We know that this horse can go 1.1 miles on synthetic. Yep. How many other runners in this field can we say that about? Not many. Blackadder, I was there for the El Camino Real Derby. I needed the horse that ran second, and I didn't think the horse that ran second ran bad. It's just Blackadder ran better. I think with a big field like this, you're going to get some speed up front. And if Blackadder's able to save any ground at all whatsoever in that first turn, I think he's going to be very, very tough to beat. Unfortunately, Mark, I don't think we're going to get 15-1. I don't think that price holds up. If we get 6-1 to 8-1, I think that's fair. The other horse that I'll jump in with a little bit of an opinion on, just because I think he'll love the synthetic, is number 3, Cabo Spirit. We know he can go 2 turns on turf. I just don't think he's a dirt horse. I think you can throw the last couple of races out the window. The race 2 back, he ran into Messier, who, if the Derby is run tomorrow and he's able to run, maybe he's the second choice behind Epicenter. And then last time out, running into Forbidden Kingdom, who was loose on the lead in the San Felipe and just never stopped. I think Cabo Spirit gets a much friendlier setup in this spot. Tiz the Bomb is legitimate. I've got no knocks on that one, except I just can't swallow 2-1. I've got one rant here, guys. A horse that runs second in a race on a synthetic track should not be automatically gifted a spot in the Kentucky Derby starting gate. I understand Churchill Downs bought Turfway Park. I understand that that's a reason why that's become a 100-point prep race. And if you want to give the winner of the Jeff Ruby an automatic spot in the Derby starting gate and you want to make it a 50-point Derby prep, I'm fine with that. No horse should be able to run on the first Saturday in May in a flagship race solely because it ran second in a grade 3 race on synthetic. That makes no logical sense to me. I hope they change it, but they probably won't.
Who ran second last year? It was that Mishawish horse that Todd Pletcher had. Do you remember, Mark? Man, I loved that horse coming out of that race too, because that horse ended up running into trouble. And I think I bet that horse back like three times after that and got nothing. But that was a real exciting race. That was the one. It wasn't Gretzky the Great. Who won that race?
Like
it was oh yeah, for the King, right?
No, Like the King.
Oh, Like the King.
The westward horse we traded up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Andrew. I think it's kind of difficult. Like it's a shame. I wonder what's going to happen now with Gulfstream having the synthetic horse, if we're gonna see more of a rise in synthetic racing. And like, I'm not saying like like it's gonna be the third surface, like always. But I would like
Sainthood. Somebody in the comments, Sainthood.
Yeah, Sainthood, who was second. Yep, that was the pleasure horse.
Sainthood. There we go.
Thank
That
you.
everybody bet back the next time out because he had a troubled trip, and then he basically did nothing.
Yeah. But I'm curious what's going to happen, because now you have three. You have a major track in Gulfstream that's going to have the synthetic surface, and then you have three kind of B, C level tracks in Turfway, Woodbine, and Golden Gate that all have the synthetic surface. And we're not going to talk about Presque Isle, or I think Presque Isle is the only other synthetic track now, but so it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. Like if we're going to get more like grade 3s and listed stakes and stuff for synthetic horses, and if it really is going to kind of solidify itself as a third surface. But as it pertains to the Derby, like I love betting synthetic racing, but as it pertains to the Derby, I think you're right, Andrew. There's not really a it doesn't translate usually. So it'd be like giving a turf race 100 points in the Derby. So. I agree with you there. Brian, what did you like here?
In 2021, Like the King finished 11th in the Kentucky Derby after winning this race. In 2020, Field Pass won this race and didn't make the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby. In 2019, Some Like It Hot Brown won this race and did not make the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby.
Fun horse, though. I like that horse a lot.
Both those horse. Field Pass too is a nice little turf horse.
Yeah.
The only prediction I have for this race, since I will not spend money on this race, is that a horse will win it.
I will definitely spend money on this race. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna be all over this card.
Support a horrible product of 100 points in the Derby Trail. I didn't even handicap this race. I have no desire to handicap this race. I think it's dumb. The fact that it's not even the same surface, the fact that it's Turfway, and as Andrew said, it's Churchill Downs. Again, so they shut down Arlington Park. They gift Turfway a 100-point race on a grade 3. I mean, there's maiden claimers at Delta Downs that could win this race.
I don't know if I would go that far. Tis the bomb. There's no bum. It's just, it doesn't fit. They're trying to put a square peg into a round hole. And like I mentioned, if you want to make this a 50-point prep, I don't have too much of an issue with it. The fact that this race matters as much as the Louisiana Derby, the Santa Anita Derby, the Wood Memorial, and the Bluegrass, and the Arkansas Derby, no buys.
This race should be the last weekend of February. 5 weeks before the Derby is too late in the season for this race at 100 points. Because who's here? You have the best contenders for the Kentucky Derby are racing in Gulfstream Park Saturday, and these are the also-rans. These are post 18 through 20 right here.
I think it also says a lot if you look at, the points that you get from like the Holy Bull versus this, but what is the race that's more likely to have a, Derby contender or a Derby winner in it. And it's just, I completely 100% agree with both of you.
I mean, if you have a good horse in the Midwest right now and you're looking at the Derby, what are you looking at? Are you looking at the Jeff Ruby Stakes on artificial surface, or are you looking at the Bluegrass next weekend?
I think you're looking at it depends on your ownership, right? You're looking at if you have owners that have a turf horse that are trying to see if it can run on dirt. I mean, I get it. I get the Derby fever. I get as being an owner, that's the place you want to run at for most owners. I get it. It's just the fact of it shouldn't be a path that exists. Just like the UAE Derby shouldn't be a path that exists because
agreed.
Look at historically what they've done. So.
See, I think the UAE Derby makes sense in practice, or makes sense in principle, but in practice, like in principle, you would think that it's a way for overseas horses to get over and run in the Derby. But what really ends up happening is usually we end up shipping, like people ship over horses that are, that B, C tier horse for a big name trainer and try and qualify for the Derby that way, which, like any horse can enter that race, but like you would think that you'd see more of a international flavor in that race, and those horses coming over and shipping over, like the Japanese horses and things like that, which after seeing how the Japanese horses have been just dominating some of these overseas races, I mean I think they're going to start coming over and it's gonna be really sad when they start playing my old Kentucky home as as a Japanese bred with some deep impact, and goes ahead and loops the field and wins pretty easily against all these shorter pedigreed horses here. So,
but it's very similar to the argument we have with the Breeders' Cup, right? The Europeans don't ship their A class to the Breeders' Cup historically. Aidan O'Brien keeps some big studs back in Europe, so you're not seeing the A class horse go from the U.S. to Dubai. So, yes, the Japanese horses have been performing well. They've been winning a lot better. They've been running great. Breeders' Cup, big. What was that? Love's Only You, the Japanese horse.
Yep.
Has been winning nicely. But at what point do you say, okay, the competition's not there? The fields in Dubai were not Breeders' Cup. They were not Kentucky Derby. They were not Gulfstream Park, Florida Derby Day.
Yeah, but there's a difference. The Japanese breed their horses to run, as opposed to breed them so they can breed more horses.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at a situation, and I'm just going to throw this out there as a bold prediction. A Japanese horse is going to win a Triple Crown race at some point in the next 20 years. It's going to happen with
5 years.
5 years. 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know about 5, but certainly within the next 10 to 20 for sure. I mean, and you know what? If that forces us as a breeding industry to step back and say, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't be breeding horses to go 1/8 of a mile as a 2-year-old. Maybe we should be breeding horses for stamina and soundness instead of this abstract concept called brilliance that no one can accurately define.
Do you actually think the breeders care about that? The money is in winning a key race and sending that stud off to the stud shed for $25,000, $20,000 a pop, 165 times a year. If the breeders cared about the pools, Andrew, they would have not have argued with the jockey club on how many limits a sire could have. They fought that.
Yep. Also, look at I would say look at sales. Look at what the sales volumes do. Right now, things that sell for big money are go fast and go short pedigrees. And then what we're trying to do is breed for horses that go fast at a really young age, who are inherently unsound, and hopefully they can stretch out. Where you have the Japanese industry who's buying horses like Flower Alley, who are really sound, can go really long, but they tend to take a little longer to develop. But they're breeding that soundness and they're breeding the bottom end into their horses. And you have, flights of these horses that can get real distances and they don't get hurt.
Let me ask you this question. How many Kentucky Derby winners have ran beyond February of the following year in the last 5 years?
0.
Why?
Mandaloon. Mandaloon is 1.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But you see what I'm saying? That alone tells you the breeders don't care.
Oh, for sure. And it's one of those instances where the people that are suffering in all this are fans of the game that want to see the game thrive and who are seeing at high levels decision makers say, we want to grow the game. We want to grow the game. We want to grow the game. And then somebody has an idea to grow the game that involves a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. And the people who are in charge clutch their pearls and go, you want us to do what?
Why did Whitmore have such a following? He wasn't a great over-the-top horse, right? He was a likable horse who ran for 8 years.
Wise Dan, too.
Yes.
Yep.
It allows the fan base to connect to a horse that is a good story, and you see him 3 times a meet at Oaklawn or wherever you may see him. It allows fans to be part of the action rather than just at the window.
It's not even just
two in Maryland.
It's not even that. What about Welder? Remember Welder? Welder just running in all those races. Like, people love that horse. And like, he was winning at 1-9, but people didn't care because the horse just kept running. But
bringing up Pink Lloyd. Pink Lloyd is the perfect example. Exactly. He's another one, albeit his last race was a farce, but still, he's a horse that ran forever. He was likable. If you were a fan of horse racing, you could go in, you could watch him run all the time. He ran a ton. Super sound horse, not the fastest horse, not a world beater, but a horse that, he collected checks his entire career, was really sound, retired sound, and like, as a fan of the game, you have to love that. And I mean, I'll talk more of that when we get to some of the Oaklawn races later. But
If the tracks wanted the fans to love horses, there'd be no reason we don't have the retirement ceremonies they have in Japan, the pomp and circumstance for these champion horses. That sells tickets. You want to bring people out to Keeneland on a random Thursday? Go retire a G1 winner, and have that silly little parade. I mean, it seems dumb,
dude,
but it allows people
what
to
happened
connect.
to Oaklawn when they did that with Whitmore. Well, they had a huge attendance and they had people going nuts to watch Whitmore as a parade pony. Like, it obviously works. If you want to draw fans to the game, it ain't that hard. You just have to put, more than zero effort towards it.
I mean, track people, if you're listening, you could charge extra admission that day. Instead of $7, it's $10. Think about it.
Anyways, getting back to this race, I basically see it the same way as you guys do. So, I think 7, Tis the Bomb, really has no reason to lose this race. If I were to pick an outsider, it's going to be the 12 Blackadder, and I have a feeling that since 3 of us are on this 12, and he's going to be 5-1, 4-1. I think he's going to be way too short to play, but no, I thought that was a good discussion there. A lot of comments. Nick Feldman talking here about the Bluegrass, supposed to be a grade 1 now, but he doesn't think they're going to draw a grade 1 field. He thought more would go, but does it hurt them that you have to ship in?
I mean,
and there's no previous races.
Who's left that's not in the starting gate? That's a big name that's going to go there.
Smile Happy is going there, isn't he?
Is Smile Happy going there?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought he was.
You might see Shipshational ship in since the scratch from the Derby, right? It's possible because Shipshational.
They had mentioned that horse was hurt, and I think Ed Barker just wants that horse back for Saratoga. I don't think we're going to see him for a little while.
I didn't read it. I thought maybe it was a fever or something. Okay, that makes sense.
PDT Van Zanden. Yeah.
Oh, we'll touch on that in a second.
And how many horses went to Yakatine that need to find somewhere to race?
Like 2 or 3. Stephen Fox asking stakes or wood winner head to head. Who wins?
Wood winner.
As long as we're racing on dirt, right? We're not going to. On dirt.
Well, Wood, by the way, could be pretty good this year with Mo Donegal going. Early voting is going to be going in that race. Morello's going to be going. That's not going to be a bad race this year. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but it's going to be good.
I'm waiting for the Morello letdown because Asmussen always has the horse in the trail who just has that crap out like about a month before the Derby.
Charles saying Gulfstream purse is off by 30% due to synthetic track racing. Bettors don't like it. Bettors definitely didn't like it to start. They probably still don't like it, but
DGen's going to DGen.
It's true. DGens are going to DGen, especially at Turfway or Gulfstream Park.
Who likes to play Turfway? Who likes to play Gulfstream Park? Anybody?
Apparently, I do.
Say it.
I
love Gulfstream Park.
I've told you guys before. I prefer Gulfstream in the summer when there's not so much shenanigans going on. Give me some Jaramillo all day long in the summer.
DJ Vasquez, the quarter horse whisperer, asking which ex-Baffert horse makes the Derby.
The answer there is yes, all of them. Somehow, just to screw over a horse.
I don't know. Messier is probably one of the top 2 or 3 3-year-olds in the country. He'll get in. I've never been crazy about Doppelganger. Forbidden Kingdom just ran that horse off his feet. Blackadder might go, but I sort of get the sense that the Jeff Ruby was just sort of a chance play to see if that horse could get in the Derby starting gate. Otherwise, they'll take the fees paid for the Preakness.
Which makes sense. That's a Starlight horse, and they're going to have their options.
Yeah.
Nick Feldman saying Zandon versus Smile Happy is the Bluegrass. PDT mentioning Zandon. Sentinent saying Messier for sure, strongest Baffert. So Nick Feldman saying that horse racing is like college basketball. You get used to root for these epic college basketball teams where players were there for 3-4 years, and then that's it.
So when Baffert ships the horses to different trainers, is that the transfer portal? Is that what that is? So I like it. Messier's in the transfer portal. Here comes Richard Mandela. Oh, come here.
What are the NIL deals like for those horses?
Oh man. We got like what 4 minutes to post here at Turfway. So both Andrew and I are live in this pick 4. Andrew's got the 2, the 5, and the 7 here, and I have the 2, the 6, and the 9. So it looks like the 2 is the key here for us. Andrew, tell me why the 2 wins this race.
Main speed. I think the 2 has a chance to get out early and get very comfortable. And as we've seen, early speed tonight is not necessarily a bad place to be. I thought the last out effort was pretty good. It's not like they went overly slow up front for the level. And this horse ran second, beating a length and a half. Santiago Gonzalez sees fit to ride back. I think Brondo, horse number 2 in the program, is the horse to beat. And we're actually getting a pretty fair price right now at 4-1. I went 3 deep. I reluctantly used number 5 Chrome's Right because I wasn't crazy about that horse. I thought that horse was going to be favored coming in from Gulfstream and was the last horse I used on the entire ticket. But just on the off chance that there's class relief here, I had to use the horse. And horse number 7, Father and Gay, I really hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if somebody else has watched this horse at all. By all means, feel free to correct me. But that horse ran second for 15 last time out. It ran okay, but what really helps that horse and why I think the horse is favored is the last out winner, Incitatus, has since come back to win again. So that's probably moved a little bit of money. But I think this is 257, and I might need to punch a win bet if these 4-1 odds stay true in the next couple of clicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 9-2 right now, Andrew, but I 100% agree with you. I thought the 2 would be favorite or co-favorite here. Agreed in your 7. I didn't think you needed to add the 5. I think if you're just 2-7 here, you can probably get through this leg.
It's what plants crave, right? No? Am I thinking, is that not what it's called? Yeah. Brondo gives plants what people crave, electrolytes. Have you guys not seen Idiocracy before?
No, not a clue.
Recently.
Interesting. Brian, what do you got?
I like the 4 at a price. No particular reason. I just like the 4.
Taking the first time starter here?
Of course, why not? You know, I mean, it's one of those things where when you look at the 4, you say, okay, the pedigree's decent. Nice little workout. The price at 14-1 is solid. 15-1 just flashed across my screen.
16-1.
Yeah, see? So I'm going to try and do a 4-4 double here with my 4 in the next leg and see what happens on a double.
See, everybody out there was watching this and decided to pull their wagers back because they know your horse is only finishing second. So.
Correct.
Thank you.
That is true.
Thank you, Sentinel. He got my Idiocracy reference.
Well, 1 person out of 75. We should definitely do more content for that.
Hey, 1 in 75. That's a good ratio for an NHC contest.
1 out of 75 is how many times Mark's successful on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's actually probably a good. That's probably a good.
That's probably more like Caleb's numbers.
Stephen Fox saying, was Idiocracy featured in Moneyball? Thanks.
You can't cut Jason Jambi.
But Stephen spelled Moneyball wrong. Isn't it with a U?
Oh, that horse at Santa Anita, I bet, just because the name was Moneyball. Yeah.
Has that horse finished running yet?
No. I don't believe so.
Okay.
They're loading into the gate. I use the 6 here and the 9 as possible secondary pace horses in here. The 9's best race was at a mile here on the synthetic 2 back. They shoved him up in class way high, and he just did not do any running. So maybe coming back to earth will help him out a little bit. But the 2 is my top pick in here, and he's 7-2. And I would probably bet this 2 at like 5-2 or 2-1 or better. And then Jay's looking ahead at Arkansas. We'll get to that one after this race here, Jay. We'll talk a little Arkansas Derby. Let's see.
Country home. Uh-oh.
Whoa, there's your 4.
Whoa, hey, baby. Slow down. Go ahead.
Your 4 is ready to go.
So they're going to scratch the 4, and then they're going to let the 4 run a la Breeders' Cup. 4 is going to win. Oh, you're going the wrong way.
You're going the wrong way. You're going to kill someone.
That's the direction Moneyball ran in last weekend. Oh, this is not going to work. Go ahead.
No, this is not going to work, Brian. No.
Hold on. She's looking at the paper.
Looking at the paper.
Trying to see who owns it. Okay.
And who'd she bet?
I can't let you. I can't let you race, Jockey. Oh, that's bullshit. Jockey said.
Oh, yeah. No.
Jockey was not happy.
No, Jockey was very not happy.
Yeah, he's got to make rent. Rent's due on the first of the month, and Kent's still in the slammer.
Oh, they're going to back them all out.
Yep. Well, it gives us time to find a replacement now.
And 4 scratched.
We already knew that, Marcus.
Good job, Brian.
I waited for him to pull the silks down before I, announced it. I get yelled at for saying things too early, calling winners a little early, and figured I'd wait for the scratch to actually be, silks come off.
All right. Well, we can start.
I'm still about 15 seconds behind you guys too, so I've got to try to find a way to fix that.
Delmar Stewards just called. They said the 4 can run from the 9 hole. Okay. Cool. Awesome. We're gonna be fine.
We did just talk about tis the bomb. So that was man, I still can't believe that shit.
I have never heard a horse get booed by tens of thousands of people at a racetrack before. That was something out of professional wrestling, and I don't think we'll ever hear anything like that again. Even when Maximum Security got taken down, it was more so gasps and disbelief. When Modern Games won, it was angst and hatred.
It was angst and hatred when Maximum Security got taken down in my living room too. So.
Yeah, I broke some things.
I was nowhere. I think I played. Oh God, I played Improbable that day, so it didn't affect me at all whatsoever.
I was live to all the Bafferts plus Maximum Security, so that was what Improbable, Game Winner, and Roadster, as well as
I forgot you bet Roadster.
Yeah, do I have
Roadster like 8 times now? You've bet Roadster so many times.
Caleb actually messaged me. I think Roadster's running this weekend, so he's like, Roadster's back. But we were in Grand Rapids at the New Holland Brewing Bar that they have at the Knickerbocker, and we're sitting there, and I tell my wife, I'm like, I think I just won like $8,000, and she goes, no, you didn't. And sure enough, she was fucking right, because I sure as hell didn't win it because they took Maximum Security down.
So your wife pulled a me then?
Yeah, I was. Josh, I was there for probably 2.5 times that with my single to max security.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, I would have had the 2-day pick 6, the 1-day pick 6, the pick 5, the pick 4. I think I did the math and it was roughly $60K.
How horseplayerish are we to be sitting here talking about the Derby DQ from 3 years ago? Like old wounds
remain fresh in your mind and just come rushing back. My story was I was there for the 2012 Travers when Golden Ticket and Alpha were running against one another. I still think Golden Ticket got his nose down. I had pick 4 tickets with both Golden Ticket and Alpha. Unlike the 30,000 people at Saratoga who said they bet Golden Ticket, I actually did. And that was the difference between, I think it was $3,200 in that late pick 4 or $500. That hurt. And for a kid that was making $25K a year at the Saratogian at the time, you remember stuff like that.
Yeah, the largest win bet I've ever made to date was on Alpha in that race. And the amount of pacing I was doing at the track and swearing at everything and waiting for them to finally, after 15 minutes, post a goddamn dead heat. Ugh.
Why were you pacing? Why weren't you just sitting next to Jerry Brown? He would have told you the winner.
As before I was buddies with Jerry.
Jay saying, do not feel bad. I bet 8 rings quite a few times. I believe I bet 8 rings 3 weeks ago. So Jay, maybe you're just me.
On my video, just so y'all know if I'm.
They're halfway through the backstretch now.
Yeah,
oh, great.
Brondo.
Okay, they got to find this Brondo some green stuff to run on because man, that is a turfy action.
It's funny because Brondo is actually green in Idiocracy.
The jockey on Brondo looks like he's about 190 pounds. The way the wind's blowing. Holy hell. It's like Swift is a jockey.
By the way,
Love
if
how we're
anybody's
all in a hurry to touch that one.
yeah, no, none of us are touching that one. Say, if anybody ever is reading notes and you talk about a horse that's got its front end is climbing or looks like it's climbing, that's what the 2 is doing right now. If you ever wondered what that looks like,
What is this 9 doing?
trying to
I
get a
don't
hot
know.
dog.
But that 9, I could use that 9. But is Brondon on the wrong lead,
Yes.
or is he just got that scoopy action?
No, he's just climbing with his front end crazy.
9's coming. 9's coming. 9's coming. 9's coming,
Come on,
Josh.
9, get up there, 9.
Not happening. Oh, maybe it is.
Oh,
Mark, you need
Mark,
to shut
you almost did
the
it
fuck
for
up.
me.
Shut up, Mark. Stop.
Oh.
For the record, they're just entering the stretch for me here. Like, I don't know what's going on. I see some people saying the 2 held by a head, and I'm really hoping that's the case. Maybe
You're good.
Okay.
Allow me to take this moment. If you're watching on the wrong lead, Andrew Champagne has dial-up internet. If you could donate $4 a month, Andrew Champagne can get broadband security access through Comcast.
You know, my internet's really good through Xfinity. It's just I think my iPad hasn't been updated in quite a while. I might be running an old version of Twin Spires, and I'm not even making that up. Having said that, I punched a late win bet on that 2 horse there, and I'm halfway home in the late pick 4. So I might not need any contributions for dial-up internet. I might just take that money and wheel it back at something later this week.
3-1 there was nice for a horse that looked to have a pace advantage. I mean, you got
that was an absolute
nice call, Andrew.
That 3-1 price was a very smart play on your part. That was Yep.
Nick Feldman cashing a win bet there. He's alive in the pick 4 still. Yeah, Charles reminding us that was a nice exacta.
There, yeah, this is a good night here.
Yeah. All right. And Stephen Fox saying it's been an hour and we've capped 1 race. Very on brand for On the Wrong Lead. Yeah. That sounds about right.
He's very
Hey, Stephen Fox. I think there's a dragon somewhere.
That was
there like
that was a very dragon-esque
like a jungle he has to guard.
There's a jungle and a dragon.
Dragon and yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's official, or they look at the photo. It's 2, 9, 1, and 5. So, yeah, we're all around it tonight. So we're both halfway through this pick 4, and I got quite a bit of coverage. I think we can still both hit this. So we can still.
I'm 2 by 2 to finish. So
yeah,
we got some common ground, I think.
Yeah, we got a common horse in each. So I think we both got the 6 next race, and we both got the the 3. I got the 3 and the 5 in the last race. So
the 2 or the 4 are going to win the next race. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, he's got the 2 and I got the 4.
And the 2's 10-1 on the morning line, so that's just fine.
Yeah. The 6 is going to win the next race. I'm sorry.
You would choose.
I have that one.
I'll eat my.
I have every horse guy from Jason Beam's video. I got the deuce.
Yeah. I got him. I got him.
I had him.
So they already started talking a little bit here about Secret Oath. So I saw Jay asking if there's any love for the filly here, Secret Oath, and the Arkansas Derby. And I saw some talk on Twitter that people were basically saying that the only reason this race is even interesting is because Secret Oath is running in here. So a lot of people are excited to see Secret Oath here. Nick Feldman on the other side, he says he can't wait to play against Secret Oath. Brian, where do you sit on the Secret Oath train?
Man, I've had a hard time with this race because I want to like Secret Oath. And from a speed point, this is the same thing Lucas did, 28 years ago, and it worked out. And the 3-year-old crop for Colts is a little weak this year. So I see why he's doing it, right? So I want to like the story here, but because I'm me, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to land on We the People on the 9 hole. I said it. horse won its maiden on debut, came out and did a protected optional claimer, won easily. Was kind of, if you watch the replay, was kind of in the stretch and just won, right? So was able to stalk a little bit, took over, and just took the race over. And last week we talked about Zozos being the unknown for that race. And I feel like this is the same concept here. We the People hasn't been in stakes company yet, but has been brought along very well. This is a very well-meant horse with how they brought him along. And Pratt gets the mount for Brissett or, whoever has it. I really don't care. It's one of those things where it's not so much that I can sit there and say we the People's proven and is great, or the filly is going to dominate this field, but who else in this field looks like a winner? It is kind of my thought process. It's more of those, I landed on the 9 because of elimination of others, but I'll see where you guys went.
I will say in chat, there's a little bit of love already for We the People, both Road Warrior and Sentient like We the People. Andrew, how did you kind of see? I saw you giving a thumbs up. You like We the People here?
I would like all of you to take a moment, put your hands over your hearts, and say in unison, "We the People." I knew Josh was going to get that reference. I hope at least one other person did. That is, of course, a WWE reference from a couple of years ago with the stable We the People. I like We the People a lot in this particular race. 2 wins by more than 10 lengths, both over this track. Huge work last time out. You get Flavian Pratt, and this horse is not going to be favored. Sign me up. I like We the People a fair bit in this race, and I'll also be using number 8 Cyberknife, who is 8-1 on the morning line. I saw somebody in the comments say that they hate the morning line for this race. I think they got the favorite right. As far as everything else, you may have just put question marks by it, because I have no idea how the money's going to go here, but I don't think you're going to get 8-1 on a Brad Cox-trained, Florent Giroux-ridden 3-year-old with one bad race. If you toss the Lecomte, how much better does Cyberknife look? I think this is 9-8 on top. I'll be using Secret Oath underneath a little bit. And because I think the Rebel is a throwout for pretty much every horse that ran in that race, I'll also give Ben Diesel one more shot, at least in an underneath B horse crazy scenario type thing. Dallas Stewart does really funky things with 3-year-olds this time of year. And this horse was 4-1 in the Smarty Jones, was 5-1 in the Southwest. It's not like he hasn't shown anything. I wouldn't play against Ben Diesel if you're playing exactas and trifectas. For me, though, the 2 key horses on top, at least, are We the People and Cyberknife. And We the People is my top selection. I think that one could be a real runner.
Yeah, so my take here was, if you are somebody who's a fan of horse racing, you love the sport, you love to just watch it, or maybe you're somebody that wants to get slightly better prices in the Kentucky Derby and you're hoping that certain horses take money, then you want Secret Oath to win. Secret Oath winning here, Philly versus the boys, would be huge for the sport. Look what happened to Rachel Alexandra with her campaign. Everybody wanted to show up to see the Philly take on the boys. She would be absolutely huge here. It would be the media buzz. She would take crazy money. I think there's the 5-2 morning line is a joke. I think she's going to be half that because of all the name recognition. Everybody wants to have that ticket on the Philly. I think this is one of those things where you have to put your sort of horse player cap on. I think in this situation, you just toss Secret Oath. I think she's the kind of horse that's going to take a ton of money. She's going to be very, very short in horizontals. And if you can get around her, you get paid. So I think horses I think we've already covered them. Cyberknife, We the People, I think are the 2 horses that I wanted to try to use to beat her. And even maybe somebody like the one, Doppelganger, who yeah.
Was that out loud? I'm sorry. Was that out loud?
I did say that out loud. Something Bob Baffert at Oaklawn. I'll go there, right? Like he had no right to win, but sure, Bob Baffert at Oaklawn. I just but I think you try to get around Secret Oath in this type of a spot, just on the amount of money that she's going to end up taking.
But I got a question for Andrew. Sorry, Josh. Andrew, you mentioned Ben Diesel because of the effort in the Rebel in the Southwest. How do you not have that same approach at Barber Road?
I think Barber Road's going to be a shorter price.
Fair enough.
And if I'm just looking for a horse underneath to potentially light up the exactas and tries, I mean, what would be more Derby-ish than Dallas Stewart creeping into the Derby field with a horse that has like the 18th or 19th or 20th most points by running second or third, and then that horse running second or third again in the Derby to knock out every single exacta and trifecta ticket held by a rational horse player?
With the Ruby Stakes winner on top.
Maybe.
Oh. So, Brian, I got a question for you here. I didn't really know what to make of it here. We the People and Cyberknife. You have Flo, who I don't know if he was got off or he was taken off We the People, and lands on Cyberknife, who you're getting a longer price on.
Oh, he wasn't taken off We the People. He's first call for Brad Cox. He went where his paychecks.
Are you just assuming he went where the paychecks come? That's the take? Okay.
Without a doubt. With that being said, though, there was debate last weekend between Zozos and Cyberknife. Which horse does Brad Cox like better based on placement? Why put Zozos against Epicenter and Cyberknife here? Does Brad Cox prefer Cyberknife, or is this a softer spot and he thought he'd be a better here? It's a good debate, and we ought to see how Cyberknife performs. Cyberknife has that attack, sits back and should pounce, somewhere in the turn or in the stretch. And it makes you wonder, what's Brad thinking? Because he had two horses running a week apart. You look at when they last ran, you could have made an argument that Cyberknife should have raced last weekend. If Zozos raced against this field, he probably wins.
So when I looked at this race, I kind of saw three strong win candidates in here in Doppelganger. I like the Philly Secret Oath, mostly just because the horse looks to be the fastest in this field on Briz. Maybe other products are showing something different, but the horse has got that one run style that makes a lot of sense here. Doesn't want to sit, isn't going to be super far back at second call, and I think is going to be within striking distance and maybe just out kicks. Cyberknife, which we already talked about, but when it comes down to it, I'm going to take the longest price. So I think my top pick in here is going to be Cyberknife. I know we talked about it a little bit last week, like you were saying, about between Zozos and Cyberknife. I don't know if there was really, that much like thinking about it. He just probably wanted to get both horses to run. Maybe he felt that Zozos was going to be more comfortable running at FG and tried to send Cyberknife over. I don't know what the thinking was there, but I really like Cyberknife in this spot. I think he makes a ton of sense in this spot, and I think he's going to sit a nice trip. It doesn't feel like there's really that much speed. Kavad has got some speed, and you got We the People, but you really only got two really true natural leaders in this field, and it's a pretty even, I think, pace distribution. And I think that always sets up for those forwardly placed horses, and Cyberknife's going to sit in that second pack, and I think he's going to get every chance to win this race, and at probably the best price out of the three horses, I think that have a clear shot to win this race. So I like Cyberknife. I really wanted to like Unoho in this spot. I was kind of shocked that they made Unoho 6-1 on the morning line, but as we've already talked, the morning line I think is just all over the place here. I think Unoho is going to be anywhere between your like third and like sixth choice here. But that Rebel race totally fits here. If that horse takes a little bit of a step forward, it makes a ton of sense here. But it didn't seem like any of you guys were really interested in this. You just thought the Rebel was that much of a freak race that you kind of want to just throw all efforts out from there?
I don't know, Josh. I can see it.
Yeah. I'm afraid I don't see Unoho in the future.
Mark, what do you think about Unoho?
I mean, I don't, the horse at least has a win across the surface. I thought that last out figure just wasn't fast enough to be a player in here. You need, Unoho to take a step forward. Maybe he can. Maybe, I don't know the trainer well enough to know how he manages his horses and moves them forward. I do tend to sort of think that the Rebel was a bit of an aberrant race where
what
I
happened?
don't want to throw things away, but I think the horse is not one that I want, not the one I want to put on top. I'm interested in him. He wouldn't be a massive shocker, but there was just 3 or 4 others I like more.
This is for Road Warrior. Unfortunately, Unoho is a New York bred, so maybe he does not have a shot in this race.
Like Mark, most New York breds don't finish. I missed.
Hey now, hold on a minute.
Poor Andrew.
This week, Mark has some backup.
Oh, wait. Wrong Andrew. Wait, did I say Andrew or did I say Road Warrior? I forgot.
You said
But
Road
I meant
Warrior.
Road Warrior. Okay, I did. Okay. I was like, it's the wrong Andrew.
Andrew,
You got caught in this crossfire.
Andrew, I have backup too, and it's WrestleMania. So here come me and the man.
Oh, okay, nice.
My little Becky Lynch doll.
Nice. Yeah, she got a haircut on Monday night.
I tried to make it wrestling and make it awkward. You guys want to talk about Chuck E. Cheese next?
Let's take a look at chat here real quick.
I'm Chris Hansen, Dateline. Have a seat.
Sixer saying Pratt flying in gives credence to the ability of We the People on the 9, in his opinion. But he thinks the post might hurt a little bit. Charles saying that Cyberknife is going to have to cut through the pace.
Pace makes a race. Dave Schwartz told me that. Also, Sixer used a big word I don't understand.
Credence? Isn't that a band from like when you were a kid?
Yeah, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
From when I was a kid, I don't understand.
I'm secretly 70 years old, so I get the reference.
He just aged Brian like 20 years.
Your hairline aged you 20 years.
What hairline?
I still think it was. I don't know if I ever told you this, Brian, but I was talking with our buddy Stephen Fox one night, and he's like, Mark's like 43, right? And I was like, oh no, he is not. He's like, yeah, he's like 43. He's like, I swear he's 43. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's not even 40 yet. And yeah,
imagine how bad he's gonna look when he turns 40.
It's not that far away, and Darwin gave me a beat down. I didn't have a choice in the matter.
Nick Feldman with a comment about the E2 pace figure, and I really agree with him. That was basically the reason why I looked at Doppelganger so closely. Those huge E2 pace figures on Brisnet, it makes him look like a real strong contender here. And he did those against Forbidden Kingdom, who was setting down some serious fractions, but he wasn't really competitive in those races, so I'm not really sure. His maiden score, the pace figures were a little bit more normal. So I'm not sure if that's just an outlier with the standout figs from Forbidden Kingdom that race, but something to keep in mind.
Aren't those figs race figs? They're not horse figs. On Brisnet,
pace figures.
Yeah. Do they do it for the race, or is it for the horse's effort like Timeform does?
I'm not entirely sure.
Even on the horse's effort, it comes back pretty strong from a Timeform standpoint. I know I sort of got Andrew gave me some evil looks there when I brought up Doppelganger. I thought the horse made some sense here. I don't know what all the hate is for besides the connections and the trainer shenanigans and the bullshit that is. But I thought as much as I love to toss Baffords for the sake of tossing Baffords. He makes some sense. He fits here, and he has every right to take another step forward, right? Like, am I horribly off there?
Why isn't Pratt on the mount?
I would imagine he has a better offer.
And that's my question, right?
Yeah.
You have to imagine if Bob gave this horse to Tim, he said, "Hey, keep Pratt on." It wasn't like Tim kicked Pratt off.
Yeah, okay.
But you could also make the argument that Johnny V's up, who flew west to get all of Baffert's first call. So is this Johnny V's backup Derby mount?
Seems it.
Any thought to the blinkers coming off on Doppelganger? On why now? That was a change that I tried to figure out. The horse had started off a bit slow. Last out shouldn't have mattered. Bumped in the debut. Why the blinker change now? Is this just grasping for a straw?
It might be. I know. I mean, I've heard all sorts of things from trainers about blinkers. There's some trainers that have this mentality that blinkers make a horse more aggressive early, and there's other certain ones that say, "Hey, actually, sometimes horses will drift back more with blinkers because they want to see the field and they realize they're blinded in, they can't." So, it may just be I'm imagining this is an attempt to get Doppelganger to settle a little better. That's normally why blinks come off. Again, I do agree with you, though. It's interesting that they debuted him with blinks on, and then all his last three have had blinks on, and they choose this point to take them off.
Do you guys remember when they put blinkers on Tacitus and everyone made a huge deal about it?
I remember.
Oh, this is it.
Deciding to make a big deal about Tacitus every time Tacitus ran. At some point, a horse just is what it is. At some point, horses that don't like to win should be treated as such. I don't see how this is complicated.
Hey.
Okay, was Tacitus a horse that didn't like to win, or was Tacitus a horse that was just way, way in too deep his entire career? Is he just an allowance / G3 type who they just tried to make a G1 horse for 2 years in a somewhat suspect G1 division? It's a top tier division. And
I think maybe Andrew's getting confused. Tacitus came out okay. Tax was the horse that everybody loved that could never win.
Tacitus also couldn't win because he liked to
Tacitus was constantly getting bet and hammered at the windows. Tax was,
and then he invented new ways of losing.
Do you forget when Tacitus won that optional claimer 80,000 at Aqueduct? That was a beautiful race.
Oh man, we're gonna give Road Warrior like a complex.
Do you remember when he invented a new way to win by falling on his face coming out of the gate in the Travers? Because I do.
Oh man.
Hey, I have a question. Why isn't Un Ojo written down as wearing a blinker?
Did he have blinks on? Or does he have a cup on?
Wait for it.
I see where he's going.
Andrew's got it.
Yep.
He only has one eye.
So it'd be blinker, not blinkers.
I'm just saying.
I honestly if there's maybe one thing I paid less attention to than class, it's probably blinkers on and off. Because I just don't know. Trying to guess.
You're level with E8s. I'm surprised you don't follow blinkers.
Yeah, that seems like something you of all people would pay a ton of attention to.
No, because you ask any person, they give you a different reason why they put the blinkers on. I don't know. I try not to guess what the trainer's doing, and then I do try and guess what the trainer's doing. And
yeah. Since we got derailed, we got 3 minutes at Turfway.
I was going to say the same thing, and two of us are still alive in the pick 4 here.
Is Ed DeRosa one of them?
The Grid Father, I do not know if he's playing Turfway tonight.
I'm sure the Grid's live.
But we might need a tag. We might need a tag HR Nation.
Yes,
in
we
his
do.
Next derogatory term. Yeah. So we got the 6 furlongs here. We got a Maiden Race. I gotta pull these up. So Andrew, you have the 2 and the 6 here. You have Spin That Tune, as well as the Vaccine of Hope. Vaccine of Hope is the current 4-5 favorite here. I also have the 6. So we have the 6 between the two of us. And then I have the 4 and the 5 as well. Watermark for Ben Colebrook, and Different But Okay, which is Brian's horse here. And really, I like the 4 and the 5, just strictly on I think these horses are going to go to the front. I think these are going to be your horses on the lead. So I picked the 4. The 5, oddly enough, they have him listed as an S-type, but last time out with Corrales aboard, I mean, he was ridden very aggressively. So I'm hoping Kimura gives the same aggressive ride here. We get him on the front end and get a little bit of an upset at 4-1. But Vaccine of Hope here, the 6 does look pretty strong. Andrew, why don't you talk to me a little bit about your picks here, the 2 and the 6?
Sure. Vaccine of Hope, Leslie Ward, fast workouts. If this horse is ready to run, I think she's going to be pretty tough. I mean, this horse hasn't done a whole heck of a lot wrong if you toss the last out effort, and we haven't seen the horse for 2.5 months, so it's safe to assume something might have gone wrong. 3 seconds prior to that, one of which came to Bubble Rock at Saratoga on the greatest handicapping day of my life. Vaccine of Hope, I think, is just the classiest horse in here. Just looking at the numbers, if Vaccine of Hope runs to those 2-year-old races, I think she wins. The Stranger Danger horse, to me, is the 2 Spin That Tune. This horse did everything but win last time out at Woodbine, was leading by 2 lengths in the stretch, ultimately got reeled in. I think maybe this horse just moved a little too soon. And you mentioned a couple of horses that might get to the lead. I think Spin That Tune is going to be doing her best running late. And the faster they go early on, the better her chances figure to be. Randy Klopp is 5 for 15 on the meet, and this one comes in off of 2 bullet drills at Indiana. I think Spin That Tune has a shot, and the bettors seem to agree. 10-1 on the morning line, down to 5-1.
Yep. And I just popped up Andrew's remaining ticket. Here's mine. Mark or Brian, I know you said this 4 is your best bet of the day. And Mark, what did you like in here?
I was going to single the 6 in this race.
Okay.
Not going to get creative. They're off. I mean,
For
with
some
how the
of
track's
us.
been playing, yeah.
Some of us.
Say with how the track's been playing, I thought the 6 with that tactical speed should be pretty much a lock in here. But we'll see.
So the 5 got the lead here. So Kimura did give that aggressive ride like we saw last time out.
Andrew, if you want,
Vaccine of Hope is sitting just outside that 5.
Brian, your 4 is looking pretty good in here right now.
No, the 4 screwed.
I think so.
Well,
I just
talk
put it up
positively about
TVG,
it.
and I've got a feet that's a little bit ahead, so we're not in a bad spot here. Bring the deuce. Bring the deuce.
Yeah, 4 is going backwards.
Oh, your deuce is looking loaded.
Bring the deuce. You can't tell because now we're at Turfway and the camera's really low.
Oh, Robin's racing right now.
6.
Oh, am I not supposed to ruin this for Andrew?
6.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the 2 can't get by, and nope. Oh, well, 2 ran great, just needed the race, and Josh and I are both alive. That could have been worse.
Hey, Mark, next time I have a horse racing, can you keep my horse's name out your mouth?
No,
my horse's name out your mouth.
Greatest night in the history of television here, especially if Josh and I both hit this pick 4.
Yep. I'm live to both Andrew's horses, the 3 and the 5. I also got the 4 and the 8 here. So we'll see.
I'm gonna really kick myself if my 2x2 by 1x2 pick 4 hits.
So by the way, Mark, I know we didn't talk at the beginning. What are you drinking over there? You got a Balvenie 12?
Yeah, this is the Balvenie 12. This is the American Oak aged Balvenie 12, which is got quite a bit of bourbon flavor on it for a Scotch, and it is extremely good and honestly, it's good overall. It's good at the price point. I'm very, very impressed. Highly recommend this one.
Would that run you?
I'd have to look, Josh. I want to say it was like 60.
How old's that bottle?
It says it was aged 12 years.
Well, that's why you like it. Yeah, I went there.
Went there.
Weird
place for you to go.
I got Buffalo Trace, so just nice roll. I didn't want to think.
I got tap water. Just
nice.
Here in my handy little thermos here.
Have you seen the Krishner and what's his name comedy about the Kool-Aid in his thermos? You gotta look that one up. It's pretty funny, man. He's talking about walking out of the water, and he goes, "What is that?" He goes, "It's Kool-Aid." He goes, "Oh my God, there's so much sugar in my Kool-Aid." It's pretty funny.
There is an objection here, the 2 on the 6, so we'll keep you guys
Okay,
posted on that.
take him down. Take him down.
They were rubbing the whole stretch, Andrew. So honestly, there might be something there.
Andrew, this is Turfway, and the jockey on the 6, his name is Corrales. He does what he wants. He's the Irad of Kentucky. Okay.
While they're looking at this race, why don't we move on here? We're gonna take a quick look here at the Appleton, the Kitten's Joy Appleton, here at Gulfstream Park.
Really?
We're gonna be going a mile on the turf, and I really had a hard time getting around the 9 here. It's gonna be your second choice, English B. Last time out, finished third. Probably I actually really like the horse in that spot. But has run a couple of nice, decent races. Hasn't really gotten its picture taken since Colonial last year. But I think English B is going to get a nice setup here with a pretty fast pace in front of him. And I think it's going to set up nicely here for Luis Saez and Grand Motion. 7-2 in the morning line. I think that's a fair price. So I really like English B in this spot. I think his run style fits really well. I know there is an E8 here in Phantom Currency, who's your 3-1 morning line favorite coming off the long layoff. But I'm looking elsewhere here. Mark, what did you think here?
I actually ended up on a bit of a price here. I think I like you. I don't hate your 9, and I think Phantom Currency makes some sense in here. But I actually landed on the 8, Carpenter's Call. You're getting a horse that is 3 for 3 over turf. Since they moved this one from the dirt to turf, has just completely blossomed. Horse has been extremely impressive. Now those were at Tampa, so class is a bit suspect. You're taking a massive step up here, and the horse does need to improve. But all 3 of those last efforts were very, very good. Horse has a ton of early tactical speed, can be evolved, wherever. Gaff can put this one whatever he needs to. And I thought Carpenter's Call at 10-1 in the morning line, kind of horse that probably gets ignored, and there's a lot of value there. And I found quite interesting with just a little bit of a step forward.
I'm going to mark this for my contest on Saturday, just in case. Brian, what do you think?
I like the 5. Gray's Fable. 4 for 5 at Gulfstream Park. Horse has been in the money 8 out of 14 times on turf. It's one of those Woodbine shippers, which I love for some stupid reason. But the horse ran good at Churchill. Oh, let me preface this with ran bad at Woodbine, ran good at Churchill, won at Gulfstream, ran bad at Woodbine. So the horse apparently does not like Putain or whatever it is up there. So the horse is back in Gulfstream Park, and the layoff I thought was going to scare me a little bit, but you got 4 published works, 3 published works. The horse is probably working somewhere privately, so Roger Atfield's not dumb. He's going to put the horse in a good spot, and it's one of those things where the price will definitely hold. With the 7 and the 9 taking all the money, I think the 5 should be interesting. Who's got a vibrator going, Mark?
I think that's Andrew.
My phone is vibrating because my wonderful girlfriend is bringing me groceries. I am, of course, on a COVID quarantine, and she's on her way shortly. So that might necessitate me needing to hop up out of here for about a minute in about a half hour. But I was watching the race at Turfway. No change. It looks like they just took the photo. So 6-2-8-7 in the 8th at Turfway. Josh and I both alive. For me personally, would have paid better with the 2, but not complaining in the slightest. So speaking of horse number 2, in looking at the Appleton, first of all, I hate this race. I absolutely hate it. There's question marks with every one of these horses. It's a handicapping nightmare, and I hate that it's in the late pick 4. But for the sake of a contest play and the sake of any of you who are playing contests at Gulfstream, and you should on Saturday because it is such a big day with so many horses and so many races and whatever. It's a racing smorgasbord. I like the 2 Scarlet Sky a little bit here. And one of my favorite handicapping angles is what I call the toss 2, which is a horse comes in off of a layoff, horse needed the race. You can toss that one. Or a horse is coming off of a race that necessitated a layoff, meaning, hey, something went wrong. This horse needed time away. You can excuse the effort. You can toss both of that horse's last out efforts from December and October going that way. And if you do that, you've got 2020 and 21 races that are not bad. This horse won the Grade 3 Transylvania at Keeneland last April and then was ninth, beaten 7.5 by a Bob Baffert trained du jour in the American Turf on the Derby undercard. But this horse is training well at Payson Park, attracts Joel Rosario. And I understand that saying this in an East Coast turf race is basically me inviting a whole bunch of boos and catcalls, but doesn't it look like there's a lot of pace signed on in this particular race? It does, right? Like, I'm not crazy to say that. I understand that we're going to get a 51 and change half mile, but it looks like there's enough pace to set up for Scarlet Sky's late run. And if that one is ready, I think Scarlet Sky's got a shot. 6-1 on the morning line. I think you'll get that price. If you're going to go anywhere in this particular race, that's the direction I'd go.
What if Wolfie's Dynaghost goes wire to wire? Because that's a Mark and Josh horse.
Yeah, but he's a synthetic horse.
Yeah, I would much prefer Wolfie's on any surface that is not turf. They've tried to make him into a turf horse multiple times. He is just not a turf horse. On synthetic, I would love him here, though.
You know, I remember the Hall of Fame last year at Saratoga where a lot of people were trying to say, oh, he's going to love turf. He's going to love turf. He's going to love turf. They made him 7-2 against Public Sector and Annex. No, just no. That's wrong.
No, I mean, both Josh and I did very well when we were in Vegas for the NHC when he, at a stupid price, won that Gulfstream Park synth race because he was lone speed in that race, was able to get out, get loose, get super comfortable, and just wire that field. He's going to have a lot more pace pressure in here. I don't think he can make the lead, which he probably needs to do to win. And he's a horse you'd have to really, I don't know how you invent a race setup or a race flow that puts Wolfie's Dynaghost into the winner's circle. Love the horse. I think he's really cool. Again, one of these horses that you've seen quite a few times and just a neat horse, but I have a hard time getting to him winning this.
It is Gulfstream Park, right?
It is Gulfstream Park.
Okay, just checking.
I would much prefer Relio up on him though.
Andrew, I just took a look at the Will Pays. We are huge 3 fans here.
What are we looking at here?
The 3 is paying $389 for 50 cents.
Okay, that's great.
The 5 is paying $66.
And that's sensible because we're going 3-1, 3-1 chalk. It's not like that's insanely low. It's logical. You're not going to get rich off of that. But yes, we definitely want the 3 to fire at first asking here.
Yep. I will forego my 4 and 8 that I also have.
What a guy! What a guy!
Mostly because the 3 is still the biggest payout out of all of them. So
hey, I don't care if it's selfish. If we both hit this thing, that's great.
I'm gonna bet the 9 to place.
I'm guessing your phone's going to ring from ITP pretty shortly with that wager.
He's already quit listening because you guys want to single the favorite in the finale.
I'm 4 deep. What are you talking about?
I'm only 2 deep.
I've heard that about you.
I'm
going to channel The Office and say, that's what she said.
Yeah. Nick Feldman's got the pick 4 to the 5 for $1 here. Anything else that you guys want to talk about in this race?
Can we go to the Derby prep race that matters now?
All right, let's move on to the Florida Derby.
Stop.
Let's move on to the Florida Derby.
We spent more time on the Jeff Ruby Stakes that's not going to do anything. Those horses are going to be racing.
Okay, that's a valid critique, but I felt like we should. I thought that the whatever the name of that race.
I had a good rant.
Appleton was
Oh, I agree, Andrew, and I had my own little rant, but the Florida Derby is the hype race that we should all be looking forward to. This is the race of the weekend.
Really?
I hate this race.
I hate this race.
I absolutely hate this race.
I absolutely hate this race.
This is a great race.
Andrew, all right, you like this race, Andrew. I will let you go first. What are you liking here?
So there are 4 horses in here that are going to take the lion's share of the money. And the one of those 4 that I don't like is the morning line favorite. Fountain of Youth was weird for a lot of different reasons. Paco Lopez on In Due Time turned it into a demolition derby. Thankfully, horses and riders are all okay. That could have been a lot worse than it was. But for me, you take a look at Simplification and you see a horse that got beat by White Abarrio by 4.5 lengths back in the Holy Bull. Now, I understand Simplification didn't break too well in that particular race, but it's not like that cost him all chance. White Abarrio beat this horse on the square. You're telling me Simplification is going to be favored over White Abarrio? Okay, I will gladly take that. And then you look at Simplification's inside and you see a horse named Classic Causeway who beat White Abarrio and a couple of other real runners, went second in the Kentucky Jockey Club, and who hasn't done anything wrong this year, who is getting wheeled back very quickly by a very patient trainer who didn't have to run this horse back quickly. You're telling me Classic Causeway is going to be 7-2? I'll take that all day. And then you look at Todd Pletcher with Charge It, and this is really curious to me. Todd Pletcher has approximately 93,173 very good 3-year-olds. He rerouted all of them to other races because Charge It was penciled in for the Florida Derby. What does that tell you about the promise this horse has that Pletcher did that off of a maiden special weight win going a 1-turn mile? Add in that this horse is working very well at Palm Beach Downs. Yeah, that horse is probably a runner. I'm going 3 deep in the multi-race exotics. I think if you're going to play the multi-race exotics, you need to toss at least one horse of that quartet, and I'm tossing Simplification. If Simplification beats me, he beats me. I'll ride with the other 3.
Any worry that you think Charge It's going to be the favorite at when things kind of when the dust settles with these 4?
I can't see him being favored. I could see a situation where, say, Simplification winds up being 5-2 and Charge It winds up being the 3-1 second choice. But if that winds up happening, then chances are White Abarrio and Classic Causeway are what, 4-1, 9-2?
Mm-hmm. So, Andrew, I would say, Andrew, you're a smarter guy than I am, and yep. So I mean, it's a low bar, but you're definitely smarter than I am. So, Classic Causeway is already in the gates for Saturday in May, right?
Right.
Why on earth? And I realized they had the option of either going here or going to the Bluegrass. They decided to go here off the work. Okay, cool. Why are they running this horse again before the Derby? I mean, I understand Tampa Bay is a bit of a gap, but this is today's racing where 5, 6, 7 weeks isn't that big of a deal. Why are they running him here?
$1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, Kentucky West Racing LLC, so they probably have like 30 owners that all want to get their share of cash. That was my take anyway.
And my thinking is that it's a show of confidence because you're right. Classic Causeway did not have to run here, and he runs here. I think that says something good about the horse rather than they're showing some degree of panic or weakness or whatever. Now, Classic Causeway does not need to win in order to ensure a spot in the Derby starting gate. I understand that. I sort of felt the same way about Epicenter last week in the Louisiana Derby, and it seemed like the connections wanted to give that horse an education in that race. Well, Epicenter got that education sitting back off a horse has taken some dirt in his face and was still much the best horse. So it'll be interesting to see what the tactics are with Rod Ortiz Jr. aboard Classic Causeway in this spot. I think he's well men in here, going back up against the likes of White Abarrio and Simplification and Charge It. And there's a couple other decent horses in this race as well. Strike Hard doesn't suck. Papacap doesn't suck. It's a good field. I just think Classic Causeway's got a chance to be a very, very good horse. And if we see the kind of Classic Causeway that we saw at Tampa, I think it'll be tough.
See, I thought that the morning line was backwards. I think Classic Causeway's got to actually take most of the money and going to end up favored here. That was kind of my thought. And I think it's more or less a break for before the Derby. By racing here instead of Bluegrass, they get 5 weeks off before the Derby. That's a nice stretch going into the Derby rather than the 4-week turnaround. Does it really matter? Probably so. You're going to ship up to Kentucky. You're going to get a week or 10 days off. You're going to go run around a little bit. It gives you probably 3 works at Churchill before the Derby. So it makes a lot of sense in my opinion as far as that strategy goes.
Yeah, Nick Feldman, he's really going to be leaning on Classic Causeway, it looks like in here. He says he doesn't believe in Charge It. He thinks that he's going to toss White Barrio and Charge It. He's going to use Classic Causeway with simplification, and he likes Strike Hard as kind of his third choice there. Mark, what were you saying?
No, I honestly, I think Andrew 100% covered exactly what I was going to say. He might as well have read my notes. We had very almost identical takes on this race.
Upstate New York represent, yo.
Exactly.
One of you has a girlfriend.
Ouch, harsh. So no, I really just want Classic Causeway and Charge It. Those are the 2 horses that I was most interested in here, for exactly the reasons Andrew said, and I don't need to, go any further. I think those are 2 most likely winners, and simplification shouldn't just beat me.
I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter yesterday about Papa Cap. I think Papa Cap's going to get overlooked. I think Papa Cap's going to be 15-1. That's where I liked Classic Causeway as my horse after the Tampa. I thought that win was impressive, but to me, why not take a shot with a 15-1 horse?
DJ Vasquez asking about O Captain, thinking that maybe this is a horse that maybe might round out an exacta or trifecta. Gustavo Delgado trained with Joel Rosario aboard.
Yeah, stranger things have happened. I mean, this is a horse with only 3 lifetime starts. The last start was the first start going 2 turns. It's not like the horse ran badly, and you get Joel Rosario at 20-1. I've heard worse cases. Now, Brian mentioned Papa Cap, and I think that's a very nice horse, but I can't help but look at the past performances and see that ever since they stretched this horse out to 2 turns, he's 0 for 4. I think maybe this is a 1-turn mile type horse, and I think you'll see him next, not in the Kentucky Derby, but in the Pat Day Mile. And for that reason and that reason only, I hope he's 7th, beaten about 20, so that way when he goes in the Pat Day Mile, he can be 9-2 or 5-1, and we can all unload on him and have a lot of fun. Having said that, I just think 2 turns might be a little further than maybe he wants.
I could also see him coming back, maybe Belmont undercard. There's that mile that a lot of the 3-year-old Derby almost tend to roll out of and roll into, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Is he Easy Goer? Yeah, Easy Goer. There you go. So I could also see him coming back in the Easy Goer as well. 100% agree with your take. I looked at him long and hard, and it does seem like since they've stretched him out, he just hasn't been quite as good. Probably a mile is what he wants.
So, which goes contrary to the pedigree, because the pedigree screams distance, top, and bottom.
It does. But, there's always those the horse is what it is, and sometimes, the pedigree screams one thing, and, they don't end up being exactly what you think. So
Cigar was
the California. Yeah, the California Chrome example, he should have no business getting any further than 6 furlongs, and yet here we are. So,
yep.
Charles Blaha, big fan of Papa Cap. He says that he's going to be a huge price. He's going to wager on him. Much better horse, sneaky good. They've been saving him for the $1 million purse. I honestly I know the Risen Star was obviously an awful race for him, but if you kind of just cross out the Risen Star, I mean, he lost by 3/4 of a length to Epicenter and Call Me Midnight, then lost, barely finished second to Corniche twice, who if we knew where Corniche was, would probably be the Derby favorite right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think 10-1. Like, if you're looking for an outsider, I think that one outside of that like top 4 that we've kind of talked about, I think Papa Cat makes a lot of sense. I kind of. Well, I don't know, Andrew. You kind of we're pretty even on the other 3 horses. I think I'm kind of going to be leaning heaviest on White Barrio in this race, just because of the fact that that last effort, he beat Simplification, who is the current morning line favorite. Yeah, Classic Causeway beat him when he was 2, but maybe White Barrio took that step forward from 2 to 3. White Barrio is kind of where I'm leaning here. Classic Causeway does make a ton of sense here as well. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on Simplification, but it's an interesting race. I really couldn't make a super strong opinion in this race, though, to be honest. Jay, on the other hand, is saying that Simplification will not hit the exacta, so that is definitely a strong opinion.
Yeah, one other thing on Papa Cap, and not to spend too much time here, but I also thought it was pretty interesting to note that on Papa Cap, Gaff got off and ends up on Whitebaro instead, and Gaff obviously rides quite a bit for Cassie, so at least in his horses in the States.
Road Warrior is saying, unfortunately, they will not be running the Easy Goer this year. So Woody Stevens or the allowance they run that day?
Oh, they're not doing the Easy Goer. Really? Okay. I had not heard that.
Surprises me too much. I mean, they've had some really short fields for the Easy Goer over the years.
They have. And it always ends up being the who couldn't quite get the distance stretching out for the Derby that falls back out and wants to run in, stay on the East Coast. So you always get that sort of, one superstar miler.
West Coast won it one year. He won it the year he won he went on to win the Travers.
Yeah, I remember being burnt. Who won at the California Chrome year? Because that horse hurt me in a pick 5. I can't remember who it even was, but yeah.
Was it Kid Cruz?
Might have been Kid Cruz. That sounds about right. Yeah.
I know it was that year. I know Kid Cruz ran in the Preakness that year.
Okay. No, there was hold on. I'll pull it up.
Nick Feldman saying Classic Causeway is top choice, but he does believe Simplification is the most upside. So, Sixer saying Cupid? Question mark. I don't know what horse you're talking about.
He's right, Kid Cruz. Andrew winning with my memory is not that good.
Please don't ask me how I remember that and never remember why I went into the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely remember my own name, so.
Mike.
That's Mike. Am I Mike now? But we're not in Vegas.
Oh, man. We got 4 minutes to post here in the last. I don't know. Mark, Brian, did you guys have any thoughts on this last race? Obviously, Andrew and I are huge 3 fans. We also have the 5 here. Our boy Nick Feldman on the 5.
I was 5 and 8 here. Nothing creative.
Brian?
Go 6. 6'9".
Coots.
6'9". Box it.
We never did a moment of silence for
We
Coots.
did not.
We never did a tribute with Sarah McLachlan songs in the background. I feel
we did not. We talked about this. Yes, we actually even talked about it. Where's that? I wish I would have saved that picture of just Coots passed out on the floor of a strip club. And of course, the question is which one? Because apparently there's multiple of those pictures out there. So, Road Warrior pointing out that the 3 looks like he's getting pounded compared to the line here at,
down to 6 to 1.
Turfway.
Yeah, more than cut in half.
Yeah.
But again, I will say the Turfway lines are not the best.
Well, and I don't necessarily think that a lot of people betting the 3 is a sign of an endorsement of the 3, more so not endorsing anyone else in this field that has run before. I mean, you're looking at maiden claimers in this particular race, and the 6, My Tommy Lee, who was 3 to 1 on the morning line and is the 3 to 1 second choice now, is a smooth 0 for 14. I mean, it's a case where if you're looking at firsters and you see this board, you see the 3 getting bet a little bit. The 9 for Glow, I thought might get bet a little bit more than that one is right now. 17 to 1, coming in off a bullet workout at a training center. I've heard worse arguments.
No, if you believe weight matters, you have to like the 4, don't you?
God.
The 4 is a nice.
There we go.
The 4 is a nice price.
You got to start, don't you?
7 pounds lighter than the rest of the field. I mean,
except for the 5, the 4 and the 5 are running at equal weights. They're mine.
Yeah, but
I mean,
odds dependent. You know what I mean? 10-1 on a lighter horse is nice. Even the 7.
Well, we don't know if
doesn't
it's a
make me
lighter
laugh.
horse. It's just the fact that the horse is carrying a lighter weight.
Well, we don't know what kind of emotional baggage either horse has either. That takes a toll. You don't know how that horse feels, man.
Oh, man.
All right, 3 or 5 here for the pick 4.
We can talk some Oaklawn Mile, Josh.
Yeah, we can pull that up real quick.
I was going to say we can wait till after this race. I
know you were very adamant on talking about the Oaklawn Mile, so
I just thought it was a really good race.
You just want to hear Josh say, "I love Roadster."
Okay, you're not wrong.
Wait, Roadster's in this race?
Yep.
Okay,
Let
I'm
me have
interested
my
now.
fun, okay?
You got my
There it is.
attention.
There it is.
There it is.
Big Baffert to Stidham barn move.
I'm just looking
There's
at
a
this
couple.
race
There's a
right now.
There are a couple of Josh horses, or I shouldn't say Josh horses. There are a couple of horses in this race which owe Josh money, and I thought it was a good race for us to talk about.
Holy hell! Storm the Court's running at Oaklawn.
That's not everyone that owes you money.
The 11th race. You could put a
I mean,
whole
there's
only
two, there's at
money.
least 2 just in this race that owe you money, Josh.
Who else owes me money besides Roadster?
Silver Prospector.
Where's Silver Prospector owe me money from?
I remember Silver Prospector hurting you and you going on a rant about it. I don't know where it was from. Was it like the Razorback maybe or Louisiana Derby?
Not for nothing,
That's
but
right,
we're
the
loading
Louisiana?
at
Tampa.
Turfway.
Turfway.
Oh, Necker Island's running too, Mark.
Necker Island's
this
actually
is,
turned into a really nice horse.
And Suzanne.
This is an interesting collection of horses. I mean, you have Runnin' Ray, who is a real hard knocker for Joe Sharp. I mean, I can't remember the last time that one ran a bad race, has early speed, draws the rail, and the horse likes the route. 8-1 on the morning line. That might be the direction I got to go there.
And market analysis has turned out to be a good career horse too, man.
The 3 breaks dead last.
Rip.
Mm.
Oh, there's a Greeley horse. I didn't realize the 8 was a Greeley. Seems like all those Greeleys run well on synthetic.
And I'm trying to find the 6, and I can't. And the 5. I've never actually. The 5's got a good. 5's got a good
Yeah, the
track.
5's sitting 3.
Yeah.
6 is right. 6 is right behind the 9.
But with how the track's been playing, this is probably over.
The 7's making a move.
Oh, that's quite the middle move, Bri.
Sure was.
So's the 5. Come on, this 5.
Look at that 118 pounds in the 7.
Bring this 5. You can't tell a damn thing from this camera.
I think the 7's got it, guys.
Yeah, it looks like 7.
Yeah, probably.
6.
And in the meantime, the 3's making a really nice run to get 5th. Maybe if that horse is like, broken
Oh,
with the
unreal.
I think that was 6th, actually.
Rip.
close enough. All right.
4
well, we
deep and
gave
I
it a
can't
good run.
get there.
Give it a good run.
Where did that 7 go off at?
11-1.
Oh. I don't even. Tiago, man. Stupid. He's been on fire as of lately. He's been he's the bug boy, and he's been, I don't know, like all of a sudden the switch flipped at some point because he was like 0 for a lot. And now he's getting into a little bit more of a respectable win percentage there. But
What was there to recommend that horse? Like, I'm looking at the form here. I see a horse that, other than the debut where he was 6th, beaten 9 lengths, high coots, comes to Turfway, gets beaten 15 lengths, 17 3/4, 22 1/2, and 11 1/4. And the 11 1/4 length loss came with the 6 also in the field. If you had that horse, more power to you. I tip my imaginary cap. I got nothing, and I never could have come up with that horse.
Nope, never in a million years do I get there.
So usually horses that lose by 11 lengths or more come back and win at 30% at Turfway. It's a weird anomaly.
That's
It's very
statistically
specific, Brian.
It's no, but it sounded really good, didn't it? It got to the point you had to ask me if I was telling the truth.
Oh man.
it's
7 pounds lighter. Okay, the 4, 5, and 7 all carried lighter weight, and 2 of them finished in the top.
Yeah, but the 7 carried the same weight. He had the same bug boy aboard last time and didn't do anything. So
But
at the same condition.
But what did Andrew say 5 minutes ago? People were betting the 3 not because they liked the 3, because they didn't like the other horses. So the unknown, the 3 broke horribly. The other unknown was the 7. Hey, today I'm going to run.
That was definitely unknown. No one knew that.
118 over 118. See, I'm just going to start betting weight.
It's one of those races where you realize it's a crap race on paper and you just buy it, and that's how you get there. But besides that, I couldn't. There was nothing that jumped out to me that I went, "Oh, this horse is interesting." It was simply this is a bad race, and I'm okay buying it.
The best part is the calculator calls the 7 an old maiden, lowest ranked trainer, lowest ranked jockey, and a cold jockey. So I mean, there's nothing positive about that horse in the calculator.
So Mark, what did you like here in the Oaklawn Mile before we log off here?
Yeah, no, I thought this was an interesting race because there's a bunch of horses that've been around for a while. You know that Cezanne is going to take a ton of money just on connections and on history and on name recognition. My top choice here, I actually ended up on the 10 Law Professor, who's drawn way outside. You end up with, the last couple of races out of Law Professor have been absolutely huge. If you sort of draw a line through all the turf races, form improves quite a bit. Johnny V up for Michael McCarthy is a pretty darn good angle, and McCarthy actually shipping to Oaklawn has done pretty darn well. So, yeah, I know. But historically, not last 60. Let's talk about like last year. I thought Law Professor in here was pretty interesting. Ford, has the tactical speed to be forwardly placed, gives Johnny V a lot of options with this one. I thought the horse was super interesting. I kind of picked this race out and said it's one we should talk about because there's a lot of places to go, and I can see where we may be talking about a lot of these horses later on in the year. So, yeah, I thought Law Professor was pretty interesting.
I actually landed on the horse that Nick Feldman is talking about here, Necker Island. Necker Island last year kind of turned it on near the end of the year and won some pretty nice races at Churchill. Ran into a buzzsaw that is Just Might, Ann Greeley and Ben in that Thanksgiving race at Fairgrounds. Went out, got turned out for a little bit, came back for the 5th season here at Oaklawn, ran 4th to some nice horses and Rated R Superstar, Mucho, and Thomas Shelby. Any of those would probably be favored in this race. Came back and won that optional claimer and beat both Concert Tour and Gunnet, which probably cost a combined like $7 million. So, you have I think you have a little bit. You have something here. Mitchell Merle is going to keep the mount here. He's coming in from Fairgrounds to ride this, probably on his way up to Keeneland. Chris Hartman's winning at 26% during this meet. I think this horse is going to sit pretty nicely here. He's going to get that one run, and the horse has got to win over the track. So I like Necker Island at a mid price here at 6-1 in the morning line. Brian, what do you got?
Yes. I thought that horse made a ton of sense. I like Necker Island. I don't think the price is going to be there. I think the horse will end up taking more money than I would care to admit. But, for this distance, if the price is there, I'm going to take the 3 market analysis. I think I mentioned a little bit ago that this horse has turned into a career racehorse. Wasn't lights out starting, but, the first trainer banned from California has this horse firing really well since he's claimed him, or gotten him. I shouldn't say claimed, but it's one of those things, and he should be forwardly placed. And Oaklawn seems to like the forwardly placed races or horses at a mile. So at 12-1, I'll let you guys fight over Cezanne and Roadster and I'm going to look for a price here. Of course, this race more than any other on the card that I looked at so far, I think is going to be scratch dependent. If if somebody like Silver Prospector scratches out, or Roadster or Law Professor, it's going to change the shape of this race immensely.
And Andrew, you're sticking with your one pick here?
Yeah, I think Runnin' Ray is very intriguing. This is a consistent, hard-knocking horse that's been risen up the ladder by Joe Sharp. When Joe Sharp gets a horse good, the horse tends to stay good. I love the work pattern that Sharp uses, that guys like Steve Asmussen use, where the work two back is the one you need to pay attention to. 5 furlongs and a minute flat at Oaklawn. That's a significant move. I love the inside draw. I think it's a very simple ride for Martin Garcia. I think he goes early, establishes position, and says, catch me if you can. I could not bet Cezanne with your money. This is a horse that is very, very good around one turn. Around 2 turns, he did a little bit of running at Los Al against non-winners of 1 in July of 2020. Not impressed by that race at all whatsoever. And then was 4th in the shared belief at Del Mar and was off for, my goodness, about 9-10 months. 1 turn, yes. 2 turns, absolutely not. Give me Runnin' Ray with a little bit of Folsom as well, because look, it's Brad Cox with a 3-year-old turning 4. We saw this horse accomplish a fair bit last year. He won 2 Grade 3 races, was 4th in the Pennsylvania Derby behind Hot Rod Charlie at Midnight Bourbon, as well as that 3rd place finisher, American Revolution. All that horse did was go on to win the Cigar Mile. That was a darn good race. And you're telling me Folsom's going to be the second choice probably in this race? Okay, I'll use that horse a little bit, but Runnin' Ray to me is the long shot play in there. Really hope we get that 8-1 morning line price on a horse that at a minimum, is going to be involved early.
Depending what product you like to use, they got Runnin' Ray having a significant pace advantage. Briz doesn't show that, but a few other products I was just browsing through seem to really like that horse getting a lead.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, with that said, though, I've got to jump off, fellas. Andrew, it was great having you join us again. Since Josh is betting the 9, I just have one question on my way out. Is Mitch going to ride at Arlington this summer?
I just turned him off after that one.
Wow.
You're the worst.
I know I'm the worst.
And I got to tell you, I actually do need to hop off as well because my wonderful girlfriend is here with groceries. Guys, I really appreciate you having me on. Everybody that watched, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. At Andrew Champagne on Twitter.
Awesome. That's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for us. So for Andrew, Brian, Mark, and myself, we will catch you guys later. Thank you.